Well, I was let loose the other day in Vector's stock cupboard and I found today's review gun. Ironically, it's been out quite a while and I own the bigger sibling, but I've never tried this one. It is the Walther cp99 Compact. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air. Today I'm going to right a wrong by taking a look at the Walther cp99 Compact from the boys and girls at Umarex, because so far I haven't even shot it, never mind reviewed it. I know. I've said it before about Umarex and their terrific range of replica type airguns, but they very rarely seem to get it wrong. And from the first pickup of this gun, I would say they've got it right yet again. You see, it has a weighty, solid feel to it, and that's the first thing you notice. And that starts the positive vibes for this right from the get-go. Umarex say it weighs in at 750 grams, and yet it feels heavier than that because it is so solidly compact. Now, I actually quite like small, compact little pistols, such as the Walther PPK, or the SIG P365, or even the Beretta 84, but none of them feel as weighty or as solid in the hand as this one does. It is 167mm long, and in spite of its diminutive size, feels way bigger in the hand. Let's take a closer look at this single action semi-auto, shall we? All black, again with subtle markings rather than billboard white lettering, as is often put on some pistols. Sometimes it seems just to try and spoil them. The top slide is metal and isn't tinny or rattly. I love the shape of the top, which is just the same as its bigger sibling, which I own. But this is the blowback version and fires BBs, not pellets. The top has the same nice cutaway that reveals the flash of silver internals when firing in its blowback action. This also has my favourite lock open after last shot, which is then released using the slide release catch on the left hand side. The sights are fixed and open, but it does have a Picatinny rail on the underside to fit toys, and for me a nice usable laser to help accuracy. But we'll test that out a little later. The bottom or chassis is polymer, and I really can't stress enough as just how comfortable the grip is for my hands. It has finger shaping on the front of the grip and palm recess on the rear, and it's not small, so it makes the gun feel so much bigger than it actually is. But I've already said that. The safety is on the right hand side and is very much PX4 style. Now, I've heard people complain about this because it's stiff and slightly more difficult than a simple click button. But what they don't seem to see is that it's a simple click down to put into safe, and it's only more complicated when putting it into fire mode. In this instance, you need to pull back on the rigid inner and then lift at the same time. And yes, it's stiff and a little harder than most. But I see a small child getting hold of this and being able to do themselves more harm by dropping it on their toes than ever they would by trying to get this thing to fire. And don't forget, it's really easy to just drop it into safe. No complaints from me here, and no, your young children shouldn't be able to access any of your guns anyway, but another layer of safety never hurts. Okay, mag release now. I like this. It's on the trigger guard and can be operated from either left or right hand side with your thumb, forefinger, or both. This will drop out the thin metal stick magazine, which takes 18 rounds of BBs. I like this too, because you simply need to pull back on the spring, which is on the side, lock it into place, then feed the BBs through the hole at the back. Then, once you've loaded all 18, release the spring, and they're held in place at the top by a small magnet. Now, I'm not sure how you're going to go on with plastic 4.5mm BBs though. Return this to the grip, and then it's a case of fitting the 12 gram CO2. Now, this is done by unscrewing the bottom by about 300 degrees, then remove the rear of the grip, slot in your 12 gram CO2, tighten with the screw at the bottom, then turn back on that bottom latch, which will pierce the CO2 ready. Click on the back handle, and you're now ready to go. So, power levels then. Umarex claim about 1.5 joules of energy, or 90 meters per second. Well, using standard Umarex steel BBs, it saw around 300 feet per second, which is incidentally 91 meters per second. So no room for argument there then, which equates to 1.06 foot-pounds or 1.44 joules, which means you're not going to take down any wildebeest, wild boar, or much else for that matter. But that's fine. It's not meant for that. It's for target work, plinking, and more than anything else, fun and that shooting feel experience. It does also have a very short barrel, so it's never going to pull up any trees in the power stakes. Can we hit anything with this then? Well, to even it up a little and test the gun rather than my very poor eyesight, I've added a rather nifty little laser to this. Cue fancy B-roll. Anyway, enough of that. Out at 10 meters. Here goes. Not bad at all. In fact, pretty good for a PB gun. Easily accurate enough for the usual plinking and a spot of target work too, with that all-important blowback action and feel about it.
Okay, go.
Downside. Well, so far I haven't mentioned any negatives at all about it, and I'm not really going to have too much of a go, probably because it's more me than the gun. You see, I found it quite difficult to use the trigger with the pad of my finger, and due to my long piano fingers, I would benefit from the trigger being set further forward. It's not a deal breaker though. No, definitely not, because that comfortable grip makes up for more than that little issue. And not only is it still accurate enough anyway, but the trigger has a really nice feel to it. In fact, it was a shock to me just how nice the trigger feels. Because normally they're a bit notchy. Nah, really nice. You know, I don't use my cp99 nearly enough. I would probably use it more if indeed it was a blowback. I know I bought it because I prefer pellets to BBs, but this little beast does make having the BB version worthwhile. Price? Well, I believe it is around £130 UK mark, and for its weighty, solid feel and high fun factor, it's not a bad price gun at all. I'm surprised it's taken me this long to actually give it a try. This one is quickly moving into my favourite compact gun list, and it's making its way towards the top of it as well. No surprise really then that Umarex have done it again. Hopefully you've enjoyed this week's look at the cp99 compact. If you have, please give us the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, then you may need to give yourself a stern talking to. Click the alarm bell whilst you're there too. Start writing all this lot down so you can visit them later, which may take a while. Thanks again to the guys at Vector Air, as usual, for the loan of this, a little compact darling. You know, I often get accused of costing people a fortune off the back of these reviews. And I must admit, it costs me dearly, because I don't get these given to me. But having tried them, I'm often left wanting them. Thank goodness for an understanding, Mrs. AAR. Well, that's it from me. Hopefully, I'll see you next Friday. Stay safe and shoot safe. And thank you so much for watching.